Good morning everyone, myself Umesh Unikrishnan. I will be the host for the day today for the Fan Expo Summit. Fan India exhibition, the first of a kind in the world, organized by Varta Trade Fairs. And I would like to welcome all of you today for the morning session and the inauguration and the Fan Expo Summit. We are honored to invite our esteemed dignitaries to come for the lamp lighting ceremony. I'd like everybody to give a big round of applause for our dignitaries. I would like to invite Sri Milind Deora, Secretary, Bureau of Energy Efficiency. I would like Mr. Deepak Bora to please felicitate him with a welcome bouquet. I would like to ask Sri Deepak Bora to do the honors of giving the welcome address and the introduction of the Fan Expo.
Good morning everyone. So on behalf of whole team of Fan Expo, I would like to welcome you all at the launch edition of Fan Expo, the one of its kind event in the world. And I would also like to thank all of our esteemed supporting partners, Triple ID, UPA, ESA, DPIIT, ESL, CLASP, and our sponsors like Havels, Sujata, Uniglobus, EcoAir, Airguide, BDS Bearings, and Geon Coolers. At the Fan Expo, we bring together industry leaders, innovators, and visionaries under the one roof. Over the next 3 days, we will witness the latest designs, technology, and opportunities shaping the future of fan industry. So let's celebrate together the Fan Technology Week and innovations and warmth together. Over to you, Umesh.
Thank you very much. May I have a big round of applause for this initiative by Deepak. In fact, I come from a different association and a group. When he told me that we want to do a conference on Fan Expo, I thought he was actually joking. And when we got into this subject and I realized that there are so many interesting people working on this own subject, it was actually an eye-opener for us. I hope this conference and this expo will share the same knowledge to all the industry partners. To start off with the conference, we would request to welcome Sri Akhilesh Kumar Dikshit, CEO, Energy Efficiency Services Limited, with the keynote session. Sir.
Good morning, everyone. ESL has been on the forefront of the energy saving devices, and the company was born with the Ujala scheme itself. We have been doing these programs for the government also, and for with the public participation. Even today people know ESL because of Ujala bulbs or Ujala fan. Somebody asks me when I go, what is ESL doing? So when I say that we distributed Ujala, then they immediately recognized that this company is doing this kind of work. So that was 10 years ago. Now there is no such scheme like government subsidy, and carbon trading market has also collapsed. But still, since we have been formed with the purpose of energy efficiency in the country, we are marketing this BLDC fan at our own, without much of the subsidy part of it. Some states are very proactive. Like recently, we have got the order of 50,000 BLDC fan from Gujarat. So we will be supplying 50,000 BLDC fan to Gujarat, and Gujarat government is giving 1,000 rupees subsidy per fan. Similar initiative we are doing at our own with other states also, and we are trying to popularize this BLDC fan. Moreover, it is also available in our retail mart, so we are pushing sales through retail mart also. But my point of view will be that this BLDC fan needs to be promoted by the industry also. Like this government to government sale is a different thing. It is slightly pricey, so these are the days when people go to Amazon and then go to Flipkart to buy even a small thing. So there is a cost consciousness comparison thing, and my point is that when we are selling a fan for 2,700 rupees with our markup, and there are phone fans at 1,400 rupees, 1,500 rupees branded. Somebody was telling 450 rupees fan, I don't know what kind of fan is that. So I believe that apart from this selling idea कि आपका इतना पैसा बचेगा, it is energy conscious, it is a one thing. If somebody is buying a fan of 2,700 rupees over 1,400 rupees, saving of 100 rupees may not be that very important. For a private customer, I think we need to tell more about that, how this carbon saving is also impacting his health. We have to come out of this mindset of only commercial point of view कि this cost will be recovered in so many years, 5 years, आपका इतना घंटे पंखा चलेगा तो the cost will be recovered. That is for a government to government transaction. But be like mutual funds, they are selling at a common platform कि mutual fund सही है. Then you go to any mutual fund. Same way BLDC fan should also market that what is the BLDC fan. When the awareness of BLDC fan will come to the common consumer, then it is up to them to decide whether they want to buy Havel, they want to buy Orient, whatever. So this mass awareness of BLDC fan is very much required. As a responsible PSU, we are doing our best to promote BLDC fan. Tomorrow also we are having a meeting with World Bank. So institutional sales we are doing, but my belief is that the data which I have, we have around 500 million fans and it is expected to go to 1 billion fans. I believe most of them will be private fans. So we need to reach to the private customer apart from 5-star, what is the exact cost, and moreover we need to take this to our ITIs so that the technician for repair of BLDC fans are there. There may be a thinking this is a DC fan, so there is a PCB also, I was told. So we need to prepare this kind of repair shop mechanism, like people buy Maruti because they believe Maruti can be repaired anywhere from Ladakh to Kerala. Same way we have to give confidence to our customer that this BLDC fan is as much repairable, serviceable as like any other fan, and we have to put some hygiene factor other than the cost factor when we want to promote any energy efficiency devices, any devices. We are selling so many devices. So I have told my marketing team also that you tell that this is not only carbon, what is the impact of carbon, what is the health issues due to which we are facing. When we broaden the benefits of the product, it will impact the higher end customer also. Lower end customer is always anyway more inclined towards the cost. So I congratulate the organization for this beautiful event, and I believe that this collection will generate some more awareness, and they should call people from nearby engineering colleges or universities. Students should come who are in technology, they should see what is the technology that will be also popularize it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Some key points. Yeah, that's what we would like to do. Engage more of the industry stakeholders together at the platform. We have noted down few of your key points. Moving forward, I would like to request Sri Milind Deora, Secretary, Bureau of Energy Efficiency, to kindly share a few thoughts on this platform, sir.
Good morning. Shri Akhilesh Kumar Dixit, CEO of ESL, Mr. Manoj Lal, Executive Director from NSIC, Krishna Kant from DST, my colleague Abhishek Sharma, Director from BE, Mr. Deepak from Havels, and my colleagues from Conclace and other manufacturers, industry leaders. I am very happy to inaugurate this fan summit. First of all, I congratulate Varta Trade Fairs India Private Limited. They have taken this initiative. As Mr. Deepak told, that this is the first of its kind exhibition focusing only on fan industry. So it's really important initiative considering the India's perspectives in the domestic appliances. So friends, why BE is being associated with this one? You all are aware. The Bureau of Energy Efficiency, which is a statutory body and having a mandate to ensure that the energy efficiency should be rooted in all the sectors of the economy. And the appliances is one of the important area where we need to ensure that minimum energy performance standards should be implemented so that our consumer get choice to select energy efficient appliance, and he also ensure that the quality and energy efficient product he can buy. So we have started this standard and labeling program in the year 2006, and this is one of the flagship program of Government of India, through which I think as on date we have already covered more than 41 appliances. Out of that, 16 are under mandatory regime and 25 are under voluntary regime. The voluntary and mandatory is that initially we include any appliances, new appliances under voluntary. We'll see the market, how the market is maturating, how the industry is response to this program, participation, and based on the participation then we bring them under the mandatory regime, and then year on year we also ratchet up their standards so that further energy efficiency can bring into the appliance. So regarding the fan, we have initially taken the ceiling fan into the voluntary program under standard and labeling in the year 2008. And then initially it was limited to only 1200 mm size of sweep size of the fans, ceiling fans, and later on it was enhanced to all sweep sizes in 2019. And from 1st July 2022, we have shifted this ceiling fan to the mandatory regime. We learned that there is a participation but not very proactive in the ceiling fans, but after 2019-20 the response was good, and then July 2022 onwards we included them under the mandatory. So what we learned that also, more than our 90% families in India, they are having ceiling fans. Means every household at least average 2 ceiling fans they are being there, and almost 30 to 40% of energy, average household energy, is being consumed through this single appliance. Almost roughly 12 hours to 14 hours, the running time is there. Even southern side, that may be more to us compared to the northern part of our country. And every year, almost 60 million and above, 50 to 60 million fans are being sold out. Last year, it was more than 71 million fans ceiling fan has been sold out or manufactured. Sold out in the sense manufactured. So you can imagine the consumption. Consumption is very significant, market is very significant, and I think India is the largest consumer of ceiling fan in the world, considering our population. So we have transitioned this program from voluntary to the mandatory, and what we learn, the participation has been increased significantly. Right now, more than 450 manufacturers are being registered with us, brands are registered with us, and more than 3,800 models are also being empaneled with us for star labeling. And as I said, 71 million ceiling fans has been produced and labeled under this standard and labeling program. So this is the largest transition I can see in the after 2022. Earlier this share was not very significant. Manufacturers were also not good. But after mandatory, the market has transformed. And what also another learning thing is that almost 85%, currently the fans are under 1 star, and almost 12 to 13% are at 5 star. So the share of this 5-star fan before 2022, it was less than 1%, you can say. Now it has been increased to 12 to 13% in last 2 years itself. And I hope this market will going to be shifted significantly, means all this 5-star fan, which are we call BLDC fan, this market is going to shift and from 1 star to 5 star. So considering all these things, and after technical consultation with all the industry association manufacturers, we have ratcheted up the star rating for the fans, but we learned that 85% are still under 1 star. So from 1st January 2026 onward, the 1st star will be phased out from the star labeling program. There will be no 1st star. Then second stars 2 onwards, the table will start. That means the 5-star will be the 4-star, and 4-star will be the 3-star, like that one. So this notification is already issued, and industry is ready to take this challenge, and they want to shift all this manufacturing from 1st stars to 2-star. And there are a lot of innovations are also going on. To tell this transition, before that I just want to also share what are the BE's efforts in making the success of this BLDC story. In the year 2016-15, one of the fan manufacturers who have innovated BLDC, they came to BE and they claim that the saving is there, 50 to 60% saving is there. So we have piloted some of the fans in MSME clusters, and later on then through aggregated demand, almost 10,000 fans has been sold out in one cluster located in Gujarat through BE's initiatives. And after that, the confidence of the industry as well as the manufacturer has been boosted up significantly, and they enroll under the 5-star rating program, and then later on the transition was happened. Now this is about ceiling fan. There are other fans are also there, like table fan, pedestal fan, exhaust fan. So we have also included the table fan and pedestal fan under the standard and labeling program. Right now they are under voluntary regime, but it is also in consideration and directives from the ministry that we need to transition this fan category, pedestal and table fan, to the mandatory regime. And we are already discussing with the industry on that part also. There are a lot of MSMEs are involved in this sector, so we need to also understand their issues, challenges, and then taking them on board, we have to transition this program. We will also come up with the star labeling program for the exhaust fan. This is also one of the important segment where the consumption is significant. So under this star labeling program, apart from fans, as I said, 41 appliances we have covered, and fan is under mandatory. Almost the coverage, I just want to share some numbers of the coverage of this single program. More than 4,000 brands are registered under this standard and labeling program. Almost 35,000 to 36,000 models are registered, and every year around 60 crore appliances are get labeled through BE's standard and labeling program. And the savings, energy saving, which we have estimated or calculated through various MNB protocols. So last year we saved almost 90 billion unit of electricity from this standard and labeling program alone. Now coming to this Expo, this is very important initiative, and I must congratulate the organizer as well as the industry to come together, because it's very important to learn and understand the challenges, issues, and think for way forward. How can industry go along with the innovation and the quality improvement? So be at the same time, when we are enlisting or enrolling the appliances under standard and labeling program, at the same time we need to also ensure that customer is getting right product. It is not only just label product, it should be right quality and energy efficient product. So we have started very, you can say that the check testing and surveillance protocol has been initiated. Earlier, the comparison between the enforcement, you can say enforcement to check test the quality of the product was not very strong, but now we have decided to have a strong check testing protocols. So we are now picking up the samples from the market and testing their efficiency levels. If any brand is not able, any manufacturer, any model is not able to deliver that star rating or performance, then we are going to take an action against them also. So we want to ensure that the consumer should get confidence on that appliances. At the same time, through market surveillance activities, we want to ensure that there should not be a fake label, fake products in the market. Consumer should be not cheated. They should be empowered. Consumer should get empowered to understand that what product he is buying and is it right, energy efficient and authentic one. So for that activities also we have initiated a lot of activities, and we will come up with a good app or some web portal through which the consumer can ensure the authenticity of the label. I also thanks the industry partners for supporting BE in transitioning this ceiling fan program for star label from voluntary to the mandatory, and also ratcheting up the 1 star. So the support of these members, technical committee members, industry partners, association is very important, and we seek their continued support in future also, so that this sector will be transitioned further. As a government, we appeal here on this platform to provide a transparent and regulator framework. We will here to provide technical guidance and also help us in capacity building of the stakeholders which are involved in this entire sector. We will also help or streamline our registration and testing infrastructure, so that there should not be hurdles to the manufacturers and there should not be issues. Lastly, you maybe, I think, remember our Honorable PM has recently on 15th August, our Independence Day, he delivered the speech, and one of the line is very important. He spoken on that day, that is Vikasit Bharat. We have to achieve Vikasit Bharat target by 2047. So what he said that 2047 में हम विकसित होके ही रहेंगे, that is very important. So when he is being very sure that we have to be Vikasit, we have to be developed by 2047, so all of us to be also affirm our participation and the commitment for that one. And this is also very important sector which going to be play an important role in Vikasit Bharat. So in way of manufacturing quality product, energy efficient product, providing for our consumers, at the same time we can also think it for we can a global exporter, best exporter for the countries which are consuming the fans, like Asian countries, African countries, Latin American countries. So we can be a bigger exporter by next 10 years timeline or 20 years timeline. So that we can ensure and we can contribute to this mission of Vikasit Bharat. With this, I thanks again to this organizer for organizing this first of its kind summit, and hope this will lead into the future similar program with larger participation from all brands, all manufacturers and all the OEMs and their stakeholders, so that they can take benefit. Thank you for inviting me and giving an opportunity here. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, Vikasit hoke hi rehna hai, and I think this is one of our initiatives towards supporting the industry. But I think without BEE, it will be very difficult for us to navigate through these challenges. Having said that, now we have a very interesting launch of a much anticipated report by CLASP, the Ceiling Fans Market Transformation in India. The report highlights how the market transformation interventions are designed to overcome the barriers and open up market for energy efficient ceiling fans. I would like to invite the honorable guest on the dais for the launch of this report. Sri Milind Devra sir, please join us on the dais. Sri Akhilesh Kumar Dikshit, CEO, Energy Efficiency Services Limited. Dr. Abhishek Sharma, Director, BEE. Mr. Abhishek Gupta, ESL. Ms. Neha Dingra, Director, CLASP. Request you to kindly join us on the dais. Kindly take over the report which has been prepared in a very beautiful way. So I request all the dignitaries to open up the report and have a group photograph for the same. Clicked the photograph. We also have the some of the copies for your circulation. We have attached the QR code of the report on some walls. You can download it from there as well. Thank you very much. I would request Ms. Neha Dingra, CLASP, to briefly address the gathering about the report and its highlights.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of CLASP, it's my pleasure to be here, and I would like to thank Mr. Dikshit, Mr. Deo, Mr. Abhishek from BE and ESL for gracing the occasion and launching the report. I would also like to thank Varta for organizing this event and giving us the platform to launch this report. The dignitaries in the morning have spoken at length about the importance of ceiling fans in India's energy efficiency journey, so I will not be dwelling into that, but I will just start with two highlights. One, that electric fans or ceiling fans are first and the only solution for cooling for about 90% of Indian population. And it is very, very important, not just from efficiency point of view, but also from equity and affordability point of view. The second point is that they are one of the fastest selling appliance. They are a huge contributor towards electricity consumption, and that is why the role of energy efficiency is very, very important. Rest of the facts and the numbers and the stats have already been mentioned by the dignitaries before me, so I will not get into that. I would like to thank BEE for their leadership in transitioning the labeling program towards mandatory stage in 2023, which was instrumental in transforming the market and removing inefficient products from the market, and ESL by complementing it through bulk procurement program, which helped increase affordability of ceiling fans, which also helped increase efficiency of products in the market. It's a very strong example of how bulk procurement programs, how market transformation initiatives, if they are coupled with regulatory framework, with a strong regulatory framework, can drive the transformation in the market. In this report, we tried to assess how the market for ceiling fans has transformed since the advent and transition of ceiling fan into mandatory phase. And some of the key findings are here for you all. These programs have resulted in systemic ecosystem-wide impact in the ceiling fan ecosystem. If you look at the overall manufacturing landscape, then there is 3 times increase in 5-star fans manufacturers. At the same time, there is 60% increase in production volume for 5-star as compared to what it was 2 years ago. There is also 65% increase in MSME participation. It was much lower before the program became mandatory. It also kind of tells a story of how MSME industry is taking a step forward in India's energy efficiency journey. If you look at the overall price, at the time we conducted the analysis, the overall prices in the last 2 years had come down by 25%. But if you look at it now, it's even more. So overall, I think it's a very telling story. It's a compelling story. There is a lot of replication potential, not just across different appliances, but also across different geographies in Global South. Whether we look at ASEAN, Africa, Latin America, it's a very compelling story. There is market adoption that can be explored and explained about for other consumer appliances also. So I just want to conclude by saying that it's a great example of how strong regulatory framework, if complemented by market transformation mechanism, how it can drive the market. I would also like to say that looking ahead, we believe that Bureau of Energy Efficiency and ESL, through their vision and leadership, can drive this kind of transformation for other product segments also. And I would also like to say that I hope that this report will serve both as a record of what has been achieved and an inspiration for what is possible. The report can be downloaded through this QR code, and I would like to request you to take over for inviting the panelists for the panel discussion. Thank you very much.
Big round of applause. You may not know, but the energy that she showed, I was told that she is not well, and a team colleague had to bring her to the venue. A big round of applause for CLASP and for the report that they have come up with. Before we move to the panel discussion, I would request Sri Pradyuman Poddar sir for giving away the memento to our key dignitaries. So Deepak said that you have been one of our very source of partnership and strength of our platform itself. So we would take this liberty to invite you to please give away the mementos. I would like to invite Sri Milind Devre sir, Secretary BEE.
I just want to add, when Deepak came to me, he said that this is the thought which is there in my mind. Sir, I'll just take 1 minute. So I was the person who encouraged him. He said that you should go ahead and do it, because this was a novel concept. It was happening for the first time, and it was nice to see a young guy, with so much of motivation, who had nothing to do with fans, but he thought of this concept, and it was his effort that whatever we are seeing today, it was the effort of Deepak and the full team. Full marks to them.
Thank you very much, sir, for those encouraging words and your support. Of course, I would request also Sri Manoj Lal, Executive Director, National Small Scale Industries, on the dais for accepting the memento. Big round of applause, please. Sri Akhilesh Kumar Dikshit, CEO, Energy Efficiency Services Limited. Dr. Krishnakant from Department of Science and Technology. Ms. Neha Dhingra from CLASP. Thank you very much, sir. Please join the crowd. And moving forward to the first panel discussion, I would like to request the moderator, Sri Sabajot Singh Saini, Senior Manager from CLASP, to join us on the dais. Okay. So I'll also like to invite the panelist, Dr. Abhishek Sharma, Director BEE, Sri Abhishek Gupta, CGM ESL, and Mr. Vaibhav Mittal from Greenland Solutions Private Limited. Request you to please join us on the dais.
Right. I think from morning it's been very productive, and we got to know so many policy aspects. And the moment in the morning when I enter, I see so many manufacturers here at the exhibition, and I'm very glad to see that not just the big manufacturers, the small manufacturers, the upcoming new manufacturers are also there in the exhibition. So, a very good morning. I think we are already touching the good afternoon time. So, yes, so we will be starting this panel session. The primary objective of this panel is, really emphasize on the need of the policy landscape, the overall ecosystem, which can facilitate the small manufacturers as well as the overall fan industry to build their capacity and to comply with the standards and the processes that is there. And another important aspect is to see the market transformation potential. How we can, particularly see number of fans and volumes increasing, particularly on the energy efficient fans model. So primarily we want to cover the overall aspect in this panel session. So I think I need not to go with the background of the fans, how fans are omnipresent in each and every home of our Indian household. So but one thing I really want to emphasize, that those many fans are already there. Almost 500 million fans, existing fans are there in our country, and we are adding almost 60 million fans annually. But still, the fan is one appliance which kind of, I think, we underestimate when we think about the emissions, when we think about the energy consumption. We, kind of underestimate sometimes. When we look up, then only we, try to understand that yes, this particular appliance is, kind of consuming so much of electricity, running 24/7. Like in northern part, we have 8 months of fan usage. In southern part, I think it runs for almost 24/7 in 12 months. So it's very underestimated appliance. And I think I welcome the policy initiative from Bureau of Energy Efficiency and also from the BIS to standardize the process to come up with the star labeling for the fans. So I'll not, delve more into it. So I'll, right away start with our panel discussion and, want to hear more on the fans, not just the ceiling fans, but overall the fan sector, including the table fans and other. So firstly, I'll, go with the round of introduction, starting with Mr. Dr. Abhishek Sharma from BE, please. Round of introduction, please. Yeah.
Myself, Abhishek Sharma, Director in Bureau of Energy Efficiency. I'm looking after this standard and appliance part, and I'm looking after this compliance mechanism, the compliance part of all the appliances, and I'm also looking after this ceiling fans and solar products, along with the LED television and USD television. And we are into this ratcheting up of these appliances to increase the efficiency level throughout. That's it.
Thank you. Very good morning to all. I'm Abhishek Gupta. I head Appliances Vertical International Solar Rooftop for the organization called Energy Efficiency Services Limited. We as an organization are passionate to make the things affordable and scalable and make it available to the last mile. And that has been the core for us. We have done so in lighting, we have done so in EVs, smart meters, and naturally fan is something which happens to be the one of the biggest guzzlers of electricity in a household. So that becomes my focus. And I particularly am quite passionate about this sector. In fact, we have been working for this since last couple of years, and we have seen the kind of growth story which this fan has taken up. And thanks to Bureau of Energy Efficiency as well for keeping the bar high and raising it regularly. That is keeping us as well as industry on toes. And we look forward to have more such interventions going forward and make the next 5-star, which is going to be 6.5. I think that would be critical for the industry as well, because now the kind of share which 1-star and 5-star rating fans are having, 1 star going out means automatically you are shifting to 2 star. So that would be a big boost, and we look forward to have some specific contribution around it. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I am Vaibhav Mittal from Greenland Solutions. So we work on energy efficiency and renewable energy. In energy efficiency, we focus on institutions so that they can adapt energy efficient fans. So we have our own brand IntelliFan where we manufacture these energy efficient fans and HVAC systems. So as I said, we focus more on institutions so that they can become energy efficient and it can have a ripple effect in the society, because when institutions like school, colleges, government buildings, when they adapt to these fans, so it will have a ripple effect in the society, and general public will adapt it faster and can trust the technology more. So here I am representing the MSME sector, manufacturing sector.
Thank you so much, Vaibhav. Thank you so much. And just to inform you, we could not have PK Mukherjee, DDG from PIS due to it is not well. But we will continue with our panel session here. So maybe I will start with you. Just one session, let's talk about the standards and labeling program. The sheer numbers that we have and how the numbers after mandating the star rating scheme for the ceiling fans will work. So I would really like to know your view on how the policy landscape is evolving from here, so that we can get into the more energy efficient fans in the market. Maybe if you can provide some aspect, what is the policy landscape we are looking at?
Thank you, Sarabjit. As already mentioned in the inaugural session by Secretary BEE, I would like to reiterate that ceiling fans are somewhat different from other cooling appliances, being more energy efficient and more pocket friendly in terms of the money we spent on electricity bills. So they are a better option. They can work with the air conditioners also and result in lot of saving. So they have a good market penetration. As already mentioned, around 90% households have ceiling fans, and they are part of 40% residential energy consumption. So they are a key player. So we have to concentrate on that. Considering this, BE launched this ceiling fans under the voluntary phase in year 2008. At that time, only 1200 mm fans were covered. Later on, we covered below 1200 and above 1200 since 2019. And under the revision in 2022, we covered 3 categories. We divided the whole program into 3 categories to have a wider coverage. And since all of us are, we know that we are gearing for this transition to this 1-star update from the year 2026, January 2026. So the BEM, not only for this ceiling fan program and also to the other appliances, is that to push the energy efficiency levels. We strive to achieve the higher efficiency level unless there are technological constraints in the particular technology that is being used in that appliances. And we want to try, the basic aim of our standard and labeling program is that to achieve better efficiency level at international level. If not achievable, the better efficiency level we try to achieve at par MEPS for every program. In this way, we move forward for not only for the ceiling fan program, but also for the other appliances. And we hope the industry and the consumer will get a lot of things. And as a nation, we will be able to conserve more energy in this regard.
Thank you, Abhishek sir. I think the point here, which I will, very well kind of notice that, industry can see the model. When the star rating is rapidly up, like 2026 and start shifting up. So I can see some potential for the good industries or some MSMEs as well. The volumes is going to increase. So there we have business opportunities available, like we are having the volume going up, not just for the BLDC fan, like for the induction fans as well. In case of MSMEs, there are very less number of MSMEs who are into BLDC, but still they are into induction. So it is the opportunity for them also to build their capacity and to manufacture the energy efficient fans in the induction category as well. So moving forward, Abhishek Gupta come to you. I think from ESL we already have very successful case studies, right? Not just for the Ujala scheme, but also for the fans and other super energy efficient appliances as well. So primarily, I think my question to you would be how considering the bulk program for the fans and let's say for the ceiling fans that we are having, how you see the transformation in this sector going ahead? In the morning, the CEO has already highlighted that almost 50,000 fans are being demanded by the government of Gujarat. So how you see the overall sector developing due to the bulk market transformation that we are seeing?
So, in fact, 50,000 fans, which sir was referring, it is just one instant. The point is how effectively we are able to pull this demand up, not only in the government sector, rather in private sector as well. And that's where we see a lot of potential getting unlocked. So we are having a specific approach, which is sector-wise, and it is not only the organization which is buying, rather the employees who are also, at the right strata of income level, they can be the real drivers, what we see, to propagate it to the mass level. And this is the approach which we are following it up with large corporates to get them aligned to this concept of higher efficiency fans. And it is actually required, because currently the demand aggregation activity what we did, it has definitely given a specific price advantage to the customer at the end. But yes, even now the gap is on the higher side, and it will translate to the actual intervention which is required from the government as well, and that will effectively bring down the price to for the common people. We are seeing that happening in Delhi, we are seeing that happening in Gujarat, maybe Orissa, maybe Andhra Pradesh, and few states who are actively putting up specific incentives for adoption of higher efficiency fans. And actually we are collaborating with those such specific organizations and governments to make this mainstream fan. And naturally, 2-star becoming 1-star very soon. Naturally, there will be one level of upgradation in terms of fan quality. Still, I feel that industry has already moved ahead with 7.0 plus in BLDC. So 6.5 is not something very challenging to them, and they would definitely be able to reduce the prices for the end customer going forward, definitely augmented by the demand aggregation activity and for the retail as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhishek Gupta. I think the important point here, the price reduction, it really, the ESL's program, whether it is LEDs, whether it is fans, it's really helping the consumers and making the appliances very affordable. Now consumer has a choice to, choose from highest efficiency appliance or the lowest efficiency appliance. But now the important point is that highest efficiency appliance is also available at a affordable price, and thanks to the market transformation program, right? So going ahead, Vaibhav, you represent MSMEs, and whenever we talk about the policy landscape overall, right? So we primarily think the volumes, the production, from where the production numbers are coming. And in case of the fans also, majorly the production numbers are coming from the big players. But here I think the important point that I might want to make is the contribution of MSMEs is also very significant, right? I understand that MSMEs are the ancillaries, working as ancillaries for big manufacturers, but there is a need, I guess, for MSMEs also to build their capacity. So I want to know your view primarily on the challenges you are facing and how you are, managing, having, creating the new innovations, like, BLDC technology is here. How you are, kind of managing these challenges.
So it's a very important question from manufacturers. So I'll answer it not just from my own personal experience, but from the wider MSME industry perspective. So I'll make it 2 or 3 broad challenges that the. Okay, so I'll mention 2 or 3 major challenges that the industry faces. So first is the cost of compliance. So for manufacturers, compliance is not only about testing. So sometimes for compliance, they need to set up new tools, rework their designs, hire consultants or skilled manpower, finding new compliant raw material suppliers, and even multiple visits to labs. So these rounds can cost lakhs of rupees in development. So this is a great burden when small players are already operating on low volumes. Secondly, it's the, I would say, the bottleneck of the infrastructure, the technical infrastructure bottleneck. It is both internal and external. Externally, because there are limited accredited labs available for certification for BIS and BW fans. And when the labs are limited, the fees are high, the lead times are longer, which means it takes long to get the product certified, leading to a delay in product launches, and then the small players lose competitiveness in the market. And internal challenges are basically small players do not have robust infrastructure and testing facilities, design centers to make innovative products. Last, I would say, third is the lack of knowledge and awareness gap. Because most of the small players, mostly the micro players, they don't have in-house regulatory teams. So interpreting the BIS notification circulars and BW standard and labeling guidelines becomes complex for them to keep up with these guidelines. And hiring these teams is difficult for them because of the cost and other hiring challenges. So this would lead in, there's no guidance for them to keep up with this compliance. So due to this, they usually deter to get the compliance and certifications. And when there's less support, there's a risk of non-compliance and then regulatory actions and penalties. So these are 3 major challenges. Having said that, I would say that compliance is the right direction for the industry and for India's energy security also. With more support from authorities, government, in terms of easy access to testing facilities, structured awareness programs, and some financial subsidies, MSME sector can contribute meaningfully to mainstreaming energy efficient fans.
True. Right. Thank you, Vaibhav. I think, yes, Abhishek.
I want to add some more points that BE through other programs under the ambit of BEE has also promoted the adoption of BLDC and the 5-star fans. We have building program, we have a SDA scheme in which we ask states and provide them the good amount of funds to initiate the activity of installation of replacement of old fans with the more energy efficient fans. And many states have taken this lead. As a matter of fact, in UP alone, around 750 this Kasturba Gandhi Vidyalayas, with the support of ESL, we have replaced around most of the old inefficient fans with the BLDC fans. And also we are working with many schools, villages for this replacement program. As far as the concern from MSME side, I want to raise this, that BE with support of CLASP has recently organized two big workshops, one at Kolkata and one at Hyderabad, to support the unorganized sector to come to the mainstream and to get registered with BEE. In this effort, we have provided we have given them the guidance about how the compliance mechanism works and what they need to do, and we are also seeking the help of our state designated agencies to provide them the guidance to join the mainstream and get registered with Bureau of Energy.
Right. Thank you, Abhishek ji, for highlighting it. I think on the same topic, maybe Abhishek Gupta ji, if you can just shed some light on the ceiling fans program, or let's say the Ujala fans program, how MSMEs contributed in those programs, how you see the capacity building of MSMEs in the similar programs which ESL kind of.
See, actually, contribution from MSME can be seen not from the finished product only, rather the part of that as well. And I see that irrespective of the program, whatever we have done, be it Ujala, lights, fans, air conditioners and all, we have seen that MSMEs have always contributed to that very positively. Given the government procurement guidelines anyway, MSME has got a specific share in overall procurement share. But we have seen the major contribution happening from the component part. And we see that given the quantum of MSMEs which are actually involved in production of overall fans are actually much higher than the number of players who are actually producing the fan. So we see the actual value addition from MSMEs, and we helping MSMEs through various stakeholder consultation activities, reaching out activities to bring them at par with the larger players in the market and help them grow to actually make the things more automated and streamlined and quality component quality at par with what is being propagated by the major players in the market. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhishek ji. I think the point of MSME is really important, and also it's very close to my heart, because in my past also I worked very closely with MSMEs, whether it is the steel or other sectors, because I understand that MSME mostly run as a one-man army, right? So it's very difficult for them to take care of all the things. So they really need the hand-holding support. But I guess the overall, which I can sense, the environment is positive, ecosystem is developing, and I believe with going ahead with more number of fans and with the standards and policies in place, MSMEs will be able to grow with the linear path like other manufacturers, big manufacturers are going. So I'll not take much time, because I already get a message from the organizers to wrap the things up. So I would like to make 2 or 3 points as a key takeaways from here. One is, of course, the policy part of it. There is a need for the manufacturers to refer these new policies, whether it is the energy efficiency star rating program or the BIS standards, because the star rating is also based upon the BIS standards. So it is really a need of an hour to refer these testing standards and the policies from the BIs as well as from the standards and labeling program, and try to work proactively and move ahead of the curve. I think this is one key takeaway that I has. And another is the policies are coming, right? The new policies are coming, new standards are coming. But with these new policies and new standards, like Abhishek Sharma already highlighted, some interventions and initiatives to build the capacities of the manufacturers. So I think these two are very important points as a key takeaway from this session. And I would like to thank all of you for this very insightful discussion during this panel session, and I really hope when we sit in the same panel session in the next year, hopefully we will have more success stories to share here, and more MSMEs at the exhibitors list. Thank you so much to all the panelists. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for patience listening.
Thank you very much. A big round of applause for the panelists and Sabarjot. Yeah, sorry we are pressing for time. And the subject is so vast, I don't think it can be covered in a couple of hours also. I will request Sri Pradyumnan Poddar sir to please join us on the dais to give away the mementos to our panelists. Thank you very much. We move towards our keynote by our anchor partner, Havells India Limited. I would like to invite Sri Deepak Bansal, President and SBU Head, Havells India. Deepak sir is a seasoned business leader with over 2.5 decades of experience in steering high growth, consumer-centric business. A commerce graduate from Sri Ram College of Commerce, Delhi University, a chartered accountant. He blends a strategic foresight with hands-on leadership across diverse business functions. At Havells, he leads the core business verticals, driving transformation through innovative go-to-market strategies, operational excellence, and organization-wide change management initiatives. Recognized for his calm leadership, strategic clarity, and deep executional focus, Deepak sir brings valuable insights into scaling businesses in dynamic environments. And I like to thank you, sir. I would like to apologize. Probably we have just done some rescheduling here and there. Thank you for being cooperative and kindly take over the stage.
Good morning and a very warm welcome to everyone. So, when we talk about fans are what they do. They usually spread cool air across the room. So is this exhibition, which is spreading almost like umpteen level of ideas, innovation and inspiration across the fan industry. When we talk about fan industry, it is more than 15,000 crore industry poised to grow at a pace of almost more than 10%. It is transforming. The consumers are evolving. They are evolving from today utility to necessity. Not just utility to necessity to identity and to a lifestyle statement. Let me just share few trendsetters which are changing the entire gamut of this fan industry. First of all, why it will grow and what exactly is making it poised to grow. The big change that is happening in consumer is almost at every level, there is a smart integration of fans. So first of all, the smart integration of fans. Today we see fans getting IoT. They are operated at AI level. There are fans which have a smart sense technology to the extent that fans can on their own sense the temperature of a body and they auto adjust. That's a smart integration. It is actually a need of comfort and convenience which has evolved the post-COVID era. The second part which I feel is, which is evolving is, fans today is considered more like a wellness product. When we say wellness product, today we are seeing fans with air purifiers, fans with, maybe they will come with humidifiers also, dehumidifiers also, humidifying, balancing. Not just that, there are silent fans. When we talk about silent fans, it has a very profound impact in terms of the physical and mental health of a human being. You will be amazed to know that 2 minutes of silence is more profound and more relaxing than half an hour of the relaxing music. Today we talk about the silent fans. How we pursue it is that the silent fans are at almost 30 decibel, which are liked by the consumer. The normal non-silent fans range up to 60 to 70 decibels. So just for you to understand in a common man's language what decibel is all about, the library is at 40 decibel. Similar is the integration of lighting as a wellness product. Today we see underlight fans. How lighting has evolved as a wellness product in the fans is, it mimics the biological clock of a human being. In the morning when the sun rays, the cool white that gives energy to the consumer, to the human being. As it moves towards afternoon, it tends to be white light which gives more focus and productivity, and in the evening it starts giving a cool warm feeling which is more relaxing. So today we have underlight fans, which is also a wellness product, which is acting almost like the sunlight, which mimics the sunlight, and it auto adjusts as per the sun rays and enhances, boosts the energy and productivity of a consumer. So we talked about smart integration, we talked about a wellness product. The third part which is really evolving is the hyper personalization, the customization of the products. Today we see products which have, it's like theme-based products. There are children-based products, there are cartoon-based products, there are heritage-based products, which even like Havelis are there. Even not just that, they also ape almost like peacocks or tigers. The motif-based products are there. Also, we find eco-style products. You will be seeing in the exhibition maybe the blades which are in the shape of petals. So somewhere hyper-customization is playing a role. And needless to mention the fourth point, which is sustainability, which I think has gone a big way in transforming the fan industry in terms of the value creation. When we say CSR or sustainability, we have been discussing about energy since morning. There was a point in time when it used to be mandated by the government. Today is the time when it is getting mandated by a consumer. When we say mandated by a consumer, there are researches which show that Gen Zs will not like to buy a brand. 65% of the Gen Zs will not like to buy a brand in case they don't match with the ethics, their ethics, which is on sustainability. So to that extent, that is the profound impact of energy or say sustainability in the minds of the consumer. It is no longer a mandate from the government or from the manufacturer side. So it is a mandate from the consumer how this is evolving. Today BLDC fans which talk about 65% lower efficiency, lower energy consumption, higher efficiency. Not just that, they talk about less than 30 watt fans as compared to the conventional fans which were at almost like 70 or 80 watts per hour. So having said that, I think these four consumer transformations are making a big change, leap change in the entire fan industry. One, we talked about such smart integration. Another, we talked about it being used as a wellness product. The third part is about the customization, and the fourth, needless to mention, sustainability will become the hygiene factor. This was on the consumer side. The other is also on a retailer side, which is transforming the industry. Retailers is no longer fans are being sold in a conventional electrical shops only. There are environment where these fans are being sold in a non-conventional environment. I'll say it is more in a decorative environment, modern format environment, where people, or there will be only fan zones, fan stores which will be there, who will be boasting about the range of the fans which any brand has. The theme base, the demo zones are there, and not just that, even it is going phygital. So you can see virtual reality, augmented reality. That is how a consumer, a shopper is exposed to the fans nowadays. So from the consumer lens, from the retailer lens, from the government initiatives, and from the manufacturer initiatives, I think nothing is going to stop from fan growing more than 10% for next many years to come. In the closing, I'll just say that as the fans keep on rotating, let us keep on innovating. Thank you.
Kindly hold on, sir. We would like to give you a memento. Pradyuman sir, please join us on the stage to present a memento to our anchor partner. A big round of applause, and thank you for sharing the insights. Only fan stores, that was an interesting thing, sir. We would like to actually look forward to something like that. A very interesting area. Moving forwards to the panel number 2, Energy Efficiency and Sustainability Advancing Fans Technology. I would like to invite Sri Dhuvak Agarwal, Program Lead, Power Markets, Council on Energy, Environment and Water, CEEW. Our panelist, Sri B.S. Paveen, Director, Uniglobus Electricals and Electronics Private Limited. Sri Abhishek Malik, Executive Director, Calcom Vision Limited. Sri Pradyumnan Poddar, Consultant, Crompton Brewers Consumer Electricals Limited. Architect Ankit Agarwal, President, Uttar Pradesh Architects Association. Requesting all the panelists to join us on the dais. So Ankit sir will be joining us. Probably we can proceed in the while. Dhruvat sir, I request you to take over. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you so much. Thank you, panelists, for taking out the time for this discussion, and thanks everyone for sticking around. So I'm Dhruvak. I'm a program lead with the Council on Energy, Environment and Water. We are a Delhi-based not-for-profit policy research think tank. And in the past, we've looked at consumer trends in appliance adoption and energy usage and energy efficiency. And in 2022, we had looked at the fans market, to see how residential consumers, households, how do they use fans, what kind of efficiency appliances do they have, and why are they not adopting more energy efficient appliances. So it's a topic that we've looked at with some depth, for the last few years. So moving to the topic straight away, we are talking about energy efficiency, sustainability, advancing fan tech. So the way I want to unpack this is to look at maybe three aspects of how the market gets transformed and technology will get adopted, right? So the first part of it is what are the new innovations that are coming up in the fan segment? What's the new tech that we have to look forward to? But there's always the consumer adoption part of it. Innovation sometimes comes at a cost, and it's you have to spend the time in educating the consumer and creating the awareness for them to adopt and create a market for an innovative tech. And then, of course, there's the policy side of things. It's the fans market is a big industry, as we've seen in the morning, about 500, 600 million fans that are installed, around 60 million selling every year. And a market that is also very informal. So, something that's producing a very basic appliance for thermal comfort, even as temperatures on an average grow every year, but also a big employer and a big producer in the economy. So, of course, the policy side of things and how we drive that transformation gradually is also one aspect. But perhaps I want to start with the consumer angle, and perhaps starting where Mr. Bansal left off. And Mr. Pudar, I'll come straight to you. And just in the interest of time, I'll probably introduce you as I ask my first question and not spend the time in giving a lengthy introduction. So you spent about 35 years in the space. You've looked at different consumer appliances. What I want to ask of you perhaps is, when we talk about the consumer, it's value and variety both. One of our surveys of about 15,000 consumers, it said that maybe it's less the payback period of an energy efficient fan. The upfront cost is also one aspect that consumers consider heavily when they're buying appliances such as fans. But there's also the element of whether a fan design will fit in my room, whether it goes with the wall colors. Mr. Bansal was also saying the consumer trends that are driving the product. So what I want to ask, and the fact remains that the 5-star fan is still slightly above the affordability range of the average consumer, right? Even if you're talking about 2,400, 2,500 rupee fan, our calculations based on the number of months, the number of hours that fans are typically used for in households, for an average electricity rate of 6 to 7 rupees, that's when we'll see a payback period of less than 5 years, which is still a fairly high rate of electricity. So when you're talking about payback, in a scenario where electricity is cheap, free or subsidized, how do we sell to the consumer something that's slightly more, it's in the interest of the consumer, but it's slightly more, a more premium kind of product?
Good afternoon to everyone. So coming back to Dhruv's question, before we plunge to the mathematics part, so if we talk about ceiling fans, I don't know how many of you are aware that ceiling fan in India is the second most penetrated product category. After handsets, it's ceiling fans. So if we talk about the penetration level of ceiling fans, it's as high as 90% plus. Now, when it comes to efficiency, when it comes to power consumption, a average customer is not so perturbed with the consumption of one ceiling fan. What happens is that he compares the consumption, the power consumption, the electricity consumption with that of an AC, or with the guzzlers like your washing machines, air conditioners, microwaves. So ceiling fans per se, occupies a very small space in his mind when it comes to power consumption is concerned. But fact of the matter, ladies and gentlemen, is that research has realized, or research has shown, that 20% of the average electricity consumption of any household, average household in India, is on account of the ceiling fans which is operating there. Now 20%, if somebody goes and tells them that this 20% can be brought down to 10%, 4%, 5%, naturally you are selling the efficiency story. Unfortunately, what we are doing is that we are saying that, you know, you would be saving the cost of the fan, you would be recovering in 1 year, 2 years. The customer is not bothered. He is saying that I spend 1,500, 2,000 rupees on a fan. How does it matter? Point is that, you know, how it is going to affect his economics, his family's economics, and the overall country's economics is what is important. Today, Mr. Millen said that, you know, the star rating program or the star leveling program was started in 2006. As far as ceiling fans is concerned, it was made mandatory in January 2023. But today, if you go and ask your own parents or if you go and ask your friends that are you aware that there is something called a star rating in ceiling fans, the answer would be either they will smile, they will ask you, is it? So the fact of the matter is that when we talk about technology, that comes later on. First and foremost, the awareness, creating the awareness. That important piece is missing across all the bodies. So then comes, how do I achieve? Now, for example, you know, the basic motor of ceiling fan has been induction motor. The induction motor design was not changed from 1983. It is only when it was forced on the industry that, you know, you have to go for efficient fans. People went back to the drawing board and then they came up with 1 star from 75, 80 watts, it dropped to 52 watts. So will you take it as an innovation? Will you take it as a new technology? Of course not. It is the same technology. Somebody had to we had become lazy, to put it straight. Somebody had to be pushed. Now, if today, there are people who are claiming that in the normal induction, you know, that consumption can be dropped from 52 watts to 35 watts to 32 watts. So without any innovation, with keeping the same technology, that is the induction motor technology, we have been able to bring the consumption from 80 watts, 75 watts to straight 35 watts. BLDC is a new technology. And as you said, you know, people have been saying that 85% has been 1 star, 15% has been 5 star. Mainly because the consumers, the masses were told that 5 star has become compulsory. Unko pata nahi hai ki there is something called star rating. There is something called 2 star, there is something called 3 star. They know a normal fan and a 5-star fan. So naturally from 1%, 2%, it has gone up to 15%. But the requirement of the country is that the masses should go for efficient fans. Why should they go for efficient fans? Because it's going to make a difference to their economics. It's going to make a huge difference to the country's power consumption. When it comes to technology, people have not evaluated technologies like SRMT. There are 2 types of SRMTs, that's what I'm told. People are still working at the back end, but those technologies have not been used for any commercial purpose. And point is, as you rightfully said, that the government, the industry, the MSAPs, somewhere they have to work parallelly on the fast track, evaluating various technologies. Induction is there, induction will remain. But besides induction, there is no harm in evaluating other technologies where the dependence on imports is going to be low.
Right. Thank you so much, sir. You made several important points on the technology front. I'll move to in a little while. But if I can ask a follow-up question on the awareness front, you were also at the helm of, Usha as a major appliance fan manufacturer, and if you also chaired the Indian Fan Manufacturers Association. So if you can reflect a little bit on, the efforts that you took on creating this consumer awareness about energy efficiency and...
See, you have hit the nail on the head. It is extremely difficult for an individual brand or an individual organization to get into that sort of a consumer awareness program. Now, this awareness program which I am talking about should be something parallel to Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. point is that, every person in every nook and corner of the country should be made aware that star rating has become mandatory. That is possible only when the government decides to take up this initiative. From IFMA, we spent a good amount of money. For IFMA, we spent about a couple of crores. For an association, spending a couple of crores is a huge sum. But if you take India as a country, couple of crores is like a drop in the ocean. So, point is that whether government does it on its own, whether it is done in collaboration with various other ministries, whether it is done in collaboration with Power Ministry or the industry, but something needs to be definitely done. Even today, we are talking about ratcheting. You go to, I don't want to name those cities, even the capital cities, you will find brands happily selling not hundreds of fans, lakhs of fans which are not even 1-star rated. And here we are talking that from 1st January, 1-star is going to become redundant, 2-star is going to become 1-star. So there is a big gap. So, compliance is one issue, but the point is that not complying, who is following up on that? B doesn't have the powers. BIS has. But the government, somebody has to take cognizance of this important thing. And who is being cheated? The common man is getting cheated.
Right. So, interesting fact that came from our survey, this was in 2020, was that about 25% of consumers actually recognized a BE star label without us showing them what it actually is. Right, so consumers naturally only 25% recognized what a star label is, and that level of awareness actually changes from appliances which have a mandatory label versus those which have a voluntary. Now back then fans were still in the voluntary regime, so I hope since 2020 that awareness level for fans has gone up. But
I don't think so. I don't think so. If you go to a smaller towns or even if you go to a state like Bihar, nothing against Bihar because I have traveled there extensively. One of the leading brands, I don't want to name a brand, is selling non-star rated fans.
Right. So if I can just stay with the consumer point, and if I can go to Mr. Ankit Agarwal. So you're leading the UP Architects Association and you're also a practicing architect in your own venture firm. So on this point on consumer awareness, could you just reflect on your experience on whether energy efficient appliances is a conversation that consumers have with you whenever you're building, whether it's institutional buildings or individual households, the kind of appliances that go in, is that a consideration at all? And I ask this because institutional consumers are also seen as, these bulk consumers who can install, multiple hundreds of fans in one location and therefore trying to bring down the price. So is that, in your experience, a conversation with the consumers at all?
Yeah, energy efficient appliances, incorporating them in our buildings. Actually, this depend upon the architects, how they are dealing with the clients. Like us, we promote energy efficient appliances in the buildings, like fans, like earlier we are using this CFL lights or tube lights or bulbs. Now we are using LED lights. So they are very energy efficient. In the same way, fans also, in the same way, air conditioners also. So this is the role of an architect. We are promoting these things in our buildings. But still, public awareness, in terms of public awareness, there is a lack. So at some point of time, we can educate our client a little bit, but that has to be done at the promotional level by the companies also.
Right. So, and you mentioned that it's the role of the architect to push and advise the consumer also. Do you feel that the current, level of expertise or knowledge or awareness about energy efficiency and appliances, do architects, when they graduate, younger architects, do you feel that there's more, is there something more that can be done to increase that level of awareness so that when they go out and practice and deal with clients, they are, it has happened to some extent, I believe, with the energy building rating, ECBC and the building codes, but on appliances level also, do you feel that there's more to be done on the awareness front?
No, Bureau of Energy Efficiency is doing quite a good job in promoting these energy efficient appliances. And when we are doing some green buildings, there is already a definite scope of work what we have to follow to get our building star rating.
Right.
So we are already doing that, but at the building level, when we are promoting a green building, that it is being done. But when we are not getting our building rated, at that point of time, we are not using, people are not using energy efficient appliances at that moment of time. Only at the moment of when they are getting their building star rated or IGBC rated, then they are getting it done. So that has to be done at the at that level also, when they are not getting it done star rating.
Understood. Thank you so much. Abhishek, if I can come to you. You know, you're leading Calcom as one of the component manufacturers, and you've seen the life cycle of product development and taking to the consumer. So if I can ask you on both of these points. So there's one part of it as a new company or as an innovator. When you market to consumers, what's in your mind and how you're strategizing around it. And specifically with the technology innovation part of it, how do you communicate that to the consumer? And I'll ask a follow-up question on the technology front perhaps.
Okay. Thank you, Druvak. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Abhishek Malik from Calcom Vision. Basically, we are a B2B manufacturer. We're a 49-year-old company, and we've been in electronics manufacturing from the get-go. Our foray into BLDC fans was a natural extension from BLDC being an electronics-oriented product. So we thought it was a good fit to move and extend into BLDC fans. So that was the reason for us moving in, and we see a transformation that will happen eventually. Like in lighting, from CFL, the country moved to LED lighting. We see, in the future, a big transformation happening in the fan industry as well. And it's up to the government and obviously private institutions to take the lead to spread more awareness about it, so that the BLDC fan becomes more adoptable as a technology. And that's the way I see the future of this technology going.
Very interesting. So as a, I'm curious, you made the transition or you diversified from one kind of manufacturing of electronics to another. So, how did you think about doing this diversification? And now we've seen in the report that was released also today that there's been a 65% rise in the number of manufacturers who are making these appliances. So, what prompted you to get into this market as a new manufacturer, because it already seems like a fairly crowded space?
So we have been a lighting manufacturing company, and most of the brands that we cater to in the lighting industry are also they also sell fans. So it was a natural extension for us to lead on this way that, we are already marketing our lighting products to these companies. Why don't we market fans as well? The other part is that traditionally fans and lightings have been sold from the same dealer network, same distributor network. So it was an easier, product line to get into. We thought that we already have good relations with our B2B customers, and it'll be easier for us to market fans also. And we particularly chose BLDC fans. We're not doing AC induction fans because that is a crowded market. BLDC is still a new upcoming technology. It's not very widespread. Like you said, out of 60 million fans, only maybe less than 10% are BLDC till now. So there's a big opportunity to transform that, and which is the reason why we moved into BLDC fans. The heart of the fan again is electronics, which is what our core competence is. That's why we decided as BLDC is an option.
Thanks, Abhishek. Parveen sir, if I can now move to you. So, you're a director at Uni Globus, and you've spent a lot of time in the innovation space in appliances. So, in moving from an electrical to an electronic machine, one of the early, areas of concern, or rather two, was something that was mentioned in the morning also, that when we are moving towards BLDC, we are also exposing ourselves to imports. For magnets and for electronics perhaps. So at a policy level, do you feel, how do we address this sort of trade-off in moving towards BLDC while managing our, independence and having secure supply chains? But also on the consumer side, do you feel, one of the concerns, and maybe you can shed more light on this, that electrical machines are seen to be more robust, more rugged. When we are moving towards electronics, how do they deal with disturbances? Is the life going to be similar? Because traditional fans we've seen, you forget about, that there exists a fan. You'll see 20, 30-year-old fans in households. So with BLDC, do you think that's something that needs to be addressed? And, what's been your experience around this?
I'll answer your second question first. regarding the fans becoming so-called electronics now, um, it is not. It is a myth that electronics does not last long. Yeah, it is a myth that electronics does not last long. It is a matter of how well you build electronics. Nowadays, there is so much electronics in all the automobiles. The planes practically run on all electronics. The space mission happens on electronics. So the reason why electronics has got a bad name, that it is very finicky, it will not last long, is because of extreme cost saving and cheap products coming in and all that. So from a technology point of view, electronics can be made to last long. In fact, our own company, Uniglobus, has launched products with 7+ years of BLDC controller warranty. It's a different matters that the in the fan industry, there are no takers for it. But it can be done. It can be done, and not at a very humongously very high cost too. There is a cost differential, but it is not unaffordable. It is a question of how the industry pans out and the market pans out. So that said, regarding your first question of permanent magnet, that is an issue with BLDC controller, because with induction there is no permanent magnet and it is just the laminates and the coils and no electronics too there. So there is increase in import content. As far as the electronics import content is concerned, I mean, practically all the electronics which is being made in India, I would say almost 70-75% components are anyway imported. So if that becomes a problem, then the whole electronics industry, everything gets affected. So I am not going to talk about that at the moment. But as far as permanent magnet is concerned, that is a item which could cause problem, especially those fans which are using some specific neodymium kind of materials. There are ferrite magnets as well, which are not so much import dependent. But even to get rid of the magnet completely, there are other technologies that are being worked upon. And in fact, in case of ceiling fan motors, there are 3-4 different technologies that people are working on. Most of this work is being done in startup companies where young engineers, bright engineers, they are coming up with various technologies. And there are some of these technologies where the larger companies are also taking interest. And there are some of these technologies where there are some 1 or 2 so-called small issues, but then they are not getting resolved for years on. So the story varies from technology to technology. To name you some of these technologies, one is the SRM motor technology, which is switched reluctance motor, which does not have any permanent magnet. Then there are synchronous permanent magnet free motors also. Some people are working on that also. Then recently I came across PCB motor technology, where there is no coil needed, but the PCB itself acts as a coil. So there are number of various technologies. Now it so happened that because of some initiative by some people, the BLDC became very popular. But then these other technologies, now they have to prove what further advantage they have for the industry, for the consumer. It could be in terms of further power saving, it could be in terms of cost reduction, or it could be in terms of reducing dependence on imports. So variety of advantages, disadvantages are there. So it remains to be seen which will become successful, but there are a lot of companies working on this.
So if I can maybe just ask you to reflect then on, how does one go about choosing which tech to go for? Because it seems like there's a, variety of fan technologies out there. But for some reason, we've ended up picking up maybe like an induction and a BLDC, and that's the comparison, but there's a whole spectrum in between. Right, so how do we go about scaling that? And this is something, Mr. Podar, I will also ask you to perhaps reflect on, like, how do we move forward in a more technology agnostic manner and look at more energy efficiency perhaps, and maybe not focus as much on specific technologies? So what's holding back, for the scale up of these alternatives?
See, if you ask from a very scientific or procedural point of view, you consider various factors, as I said, like cost, features, efficiency, any other advantages and all that. And then you pick whatever suits you and your market best. But unfortunately, there are other factors where this process all the time does not happen. In case of BLDC, I would say that it did not probably happen that way, that there was somebody sitting and choosing whether to you go for BLDC or whether to go for SRM or whether to go for permanent magnet-free synchronous or anything like that. But there are other factors like one company had access to that technology, they brought it in, they made it popular, and it, from a market perspective, it suddenly had a big jump from, in terms of efficiency, from induction to BLDC. That became popular, and then other people also followed. So these are various factors which actually in practice affect. So it is bit difficult to say that these are all the factors and based on this you go and choose.
Understood. Thank you. Mr. Podar, do you have a view on this as well? Like, choosing between tech and having a technology agnostic view?
See, first and foremost, as sir was saying, as I also mentioned, now these new technologies are being evaluated. Whether it is viable, not viable, there's a big question mark. Point is that BLDC as a technology was not a new technology. BLDC technology was adopted in fans, and at that point of time, when people were talking about efficiency, everything fell into place. Point is that when we talk about BLDC, the herd mentality has caught on. So everybody wants to get into BLDC. But then, who is evaluating, what sort of a PCB is being used? Who is evaluating what sort of a magnet is being used? Under the guise of BLDC, people are palming off substandard products. Somewhere we need to be very, very careful. We just cannot go hammer and tongs, behind a new technology. What does that technology mean to the end customer? What does that technology mean to the country as a nation over a period of 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? One has to get into that sort of a deep dive. Otherwise, it will be just hip shooting. And that is precisely what is happening. Today, on one hand, we are saying that we would like to promote the MSMEs. Now, if we are trying to promote the MSMEs, are we saying that we are going to get cheap or good quality PCBs and magnets for the MSMEs? We are not saying that. We are leaving it to them. It is going, it is becoming like a shopping exercise. You can go to the malls, you can go to the wholesale market, you can go to the roadside guy. जिसको जो मर्जी है पीसीबी उठा के वो लगा रहा है, ये मैं BLDC दिया. I want to quote an example. Indian Railways, one of the biggest customer for fans in this country, every third month they come up with a tender. That tender runs into thousands of fans, lakhs of fans. The last tender which got opened, again as a nation, we have that fixation of being L1. The brand which got that order had quoted 1475 GST paid with 3 years warranty. A good quality BLDC fan, he will, endorse my statement. The cost of making a good BLDC fan works out to around 1350 rupees. Here is a person who is giving thousands of fans at 1475 GST paid with 3 years warranty. Then you know the quality of that fan. So I am digressing, but fact of the matter is that everywhere it is linked. Technology, yes. Is it tried and tested? Who is certifying that when we talk about a technology, these are the sub-parameters? Today when we talk about BLDC, BIS does not talk about the magnetic power of the magnets. BIS does not talk about the quality of the, correct me if I am wrong. No, that is needed. Point is that, we are running all over the countryside. कि हमको efficiency लाना है, हमको we have to reduce the consumption. The best way is to do it through ACs and ceiling fans. Ceiling fans is the low-hanging fruit. Let's go all out. But how? How do I promote? How do I do it? So these are some of the uncomfortable questions which we need to ask. The industry is there. The industry is all out to help the government in its objective, but not at the cost, because ultimately, the industry is answerable to the investors. At the end of the day, if you are unable to make profits, then what do you do? Another important thing, when we talk about technology, today we are talking about BLDC, but the performance of a BLDC fan depends on the quality of power which is coming from behind. And with due respect to all the states of this country, the quality of power in Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore cannot be compared with the quality of power in certain states. When BLDC is being promoted in those areas and the customer comes back and says that, my fan is not working, a brand, a company has to spend minimum 800 to 900 rupees just to service a BLDC fan. Where does he make money? If he has to quote with people like, XYZ who has quoted 1475, where does he make money? If he doesn't make money, where does he invest? In R&D. Where does he evaluate the new technologies? So we are just moving in circles,
Right. So,
and it's high time that, as a country, we have realized, what is the root cause.
Right.
And it's not a nuclear reaction. It's a very simple thing. The only thing is that the intent and the willingness is to be there, and we need to have a good time frame.
Right. Thank you. So, Abhishek, you were also, please.
I don't know the exact data, but as I understand, perhaps India is the largest market in the world as far as ceiling fan is concerned. Mr. Podar can probably confirm. What happens is, when it comes to different motor technologies, because in terms of motor technologies, there are a variety of motor technologies. But when motor technology has to be applied to ceiling fan, there are certain challenges. And one of the challenges that it has to operate extremely silently, with not even a very small kind of noise, which cannot be measured in dBs, but our ear is sensitive to that. So because the amount of ceiling fan consumption in India is so large, and rest of the world, especially the developed world, for them ceiling fan is not so much of an essentiality. For them it is a luxury feature, and those markets are also not that cost sensitive. So the kind of research which has to go into motor technologies applied for ceiling fan, as I see, it has to be essentially conducted in India by Indians, which in most of the other technology areas doesn't happen. We as a country tend to get things which are already matured in other countries, and we just want to import them. But for ceiling fan motors, it has to be done in India. Now there are, as I said, a lot of startup companies which are doing that. Some large companies are also taking interest in that. But then that is a slow process, and that is the reason also why alternative technologies will need some time before they come in.
It's a very, that's well noted. And again, Abhishek, I want to learn from, maybe if you can reflect on this experience of, new companies getting into the process and missing standards, and, who do I sell a relatively high cost product to if it's 1450, but, maybe customers are asking for lower prices because they're not getting those prices in the market. So again, what's been your experience in starting to manufacture this new kind of tech? Was there, Web have pointed out, some hand-holding that's required for MSMEs? Sometimes hiring talent is an issue. Early on, we also saw that some machinery might be required because of the way it's mounted and all of that. So, again, what were your struggles and...
No, absolutely. Definitely there is, when you enter a new industry, there is some sort of hand-holding that's required. There is some support of peers, of, ex-colleagues, suppliers, etc. that is required. But like I said, being in the electronics industry for the last 50 years, we have that infrastructure already in place. There were certain things that we had to incorporate and add from the mechanical point of view. For motors, we are not motor experts, so we collaborated with a Korean company who are experts in BLDC motors. So that allowed us to sort of, hold their hand and, walk this journey together. And electronics is something that we focus on. So it was a good match like that, and it definitely, helped us. But I want to just highlight a point. Whenever we talk about a new technology, we talk about energy efficiency. Why does everything come down to price? Energy efficiency should not mean that it has to be cheaper or at the same price as a AC induction fan, which has been going on for the last 30, 40, 50 years. If you're coming out with a new technology, there is some cost associated to it. You're saving energy for yourself, for the country, but why does it have to be at the same price point as a higher or less efficient technology? I mean, that is a mindset and a perception change that is required. Everything cannot be marketed as a low-cost product. India is a price-sensitive country, but we have seen that, like premium smartphones, premium televisions, there's a market for those products. So why do we have to pitch fans as, affordable, make it 1,400 rupees, where neither the manufacturer makes any money, nor the retailer makes any money, the customer is complaining, it's a losing proposition at the end of the day. And that is a starting point for an industry to not grow. When manufacturers see that there is too much competition, there's no margin in this business, they're going to slowly start exiting this industry. So, the lifeline of any business is to make profits. And if there is no scope of profits left, then there's no point of manufacturing it. Then I might as well, buy an AC induction fan if I'm not concerned about saving energy, then how does it matter to me?
Yeah. So, I mean, again, interesting point, and I know we are at time, so we can go on and on. I'll end this with this one question, and then there's a conversation that we can have separately as well. I'll start with Mr. Agarwal. I think if there was one policy prescription that you had to recommend that would help this market grow from where you're sitting as an architect, what would that be? And whether that's any part of the supply chain, whether that's, of course, can be innovation, can be manufacturing, can be awareness, can be something else, any part of the supply chain.
Actually, I want to say something about the BLDC FAMs.
Of course.
So first of all, what I think is, as some panelists already said, the technology is quite old, but I think it's still evolving as vis-a-vis the automation of the building, because how can we use a BLDC fan when we are doing the automation in the building? So now in urban areas, as we know, we are designing many buildings in which we are doing automation. So I think BLDC fan can be quite helpful there if we integrate them with the automation of the building. At the moment, what we are doing is we are integrating this same old. What we are doing is we are integrating this old fan with the automation of the building. But I think we can also integrate this BLDC fans with the buildings. And regarding the policy framework, I think Bureau of Energy Efficiency is doing a good job as they are reducing the star rating. And the second point is when we are designing a green building, So they already have their parameters laid down, what we have to do considering the designing of a building when we are getting it a star rating certificate. So in that case also, actually they are concerned about the energy consumption, and they are also following the Bureau of Energy Efficiency guidelines there. So I think they are doing quite a bit.
Right, right. So,
See, as far as I am concerned, it is not only policy and compliance. You cannot come up with a policy and just leave it to God. So it has to be policy and compliance, and the policy should be simple. The policy should be for the masses. Policy should be for the Indian citizens, and the citizen should be made aware of the policy. It should not be like your IT returns, wherein you have to rush to the chartered accountant. When it comes to the purchase of fans, it should be made simple. The customer should be told that this is the policy, these are the options, please go and choose. When it comes to compliance, just put the fear of God in all the manufacturers, be it a large manufacturer or an MSME or XYZ. You have to follow this policy, plain and simple. The minute we do this, it's going to be a different ball game altogether, and it's going to be a win-win situation for all the stakeholders.
right. Thanks. So what I'm hearing is the policy is there, it's the implementation part that needs perhaps a little bit more push. Abhishek. I was just trying to summarize to say that the policy seems to be there. It's just the implementation part that needs to be focused on.
Absolutely, I completely agree with Mr. Podar. Policy is one part of it, but implementation and compliance are equally important, if not more important. Because unless somebody is checking what is actually being sold in the market, anything under the sun can be sold. Customer does not know what's inside the fan. Customer is concerned about whether I'm getting air, how much I'm paying for it. So, what kind of winding, what kind of magnets are there. Like, if there is no regulation on those, there is, I honestly think this market is going to become again a low-cost industry where, the big players are going to slowly start exiting. So, if we want more innovation in this, we want more technology, driving into this industry, we need to have proper checks. We need to not be L1. We need to not be rushing for being L1 always, because it's not sustainable. It has to, any industry will grow only if, there is long-term vision and there's some margin for the manufacturers. The industry should, take cognizance of this, that, it cannot be pitched as always a low-cost, cheap products. India is not that kind of a country anymore. There's all kinds of people. Yes, we have to cater to the masses, but not at the cost of quality, because at the end of the day, the country will suffer as a whole. When your electricity bills go through the sky roof, he said that, most people don't even know how much electricity is being consumed by a fan. Fans run almost 24 hours in a lot of states, and they don't care about the efficiency of fans. So what is the point of promoting this technology if people are not even concerned about it? If there's no rules or regulations, that the electricity department is not saying that, okay, your electricity bill will come down by so much % if you implement this technology. There's no awareness otherwise. So my point would be that.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Sir.
As far as new technology adoption and all that is concerned, unless the government policy and implementation part is effectively addressed, that drives a change. If it is just left to the market, I doubt that because of efficiency and because of any features for the customers, the new technology adoption will happen. Because in the consumer's mind, as far as wattage is concerned, he thinks it's not such a big deal, although it may run more number of hours than other appliances and all that. But if you have a AC or if you have a washing machine which consumes, instead of 2000 kilowatt, it consumes 1500 kilowatt, it becomes a big deal in consumer's mind. So the adoption of new technology is going to depend more and more in terms of what benefit it has for the industry. Whether the new technology is something which will which can be done at a lesser cost, or there is a big supply chain advantage like in case of magnet, or if there are some other factors but related to the industry.
Right.
But I am seeing that just by educating customer and all that, unless there is a push from the government side, I don't think there is big change in technology which is going to come.
It's a very, again, interesting point that I think that's a place to conclude it as well, that, you know, it's the consumer that will drive the market in part, but then it's the industry dynamic that will also contribute to moving towards higher efficiency and towards new tech. So I think we are a little bit past time, but thank you so much for your point of view. I've got, you know, more questions, and I suppose the audience will too, which we'll take up separately. But thank you so much for all your thoughts and remarks and comments, and yeah, we'll carry on the conversation. Thank you so much. Do we have any time for audience questions?
Thank you, everyone. I want to add some more points with the BLDC. You know, in BLDC, there are only 3 or 4 parts. And I want that all those 4 parts should be BAS standard. For example, stamping. Then we have got controller. Then we have got magnet. In case of controller, they are giving a losses of more than 50 dB. Our President Havels have mentioned that the fan should not have more than 50 dB. But I am sure that I have checked certain controllers, they are giving a loss of about more than 70 to 80 dB. So this checking should have been done by BAS. Number 2, magnet. No, I know that many people may not know about EMS and EMI. All car manufacturers and other appliances, they take care of EMS and EMI. But in fan, nobody is taking care.
Sir, I would request you if you have any question for the dais, otherwise you can take this offline because we have to move to the next panel now.
It is just for the information for everybody.
You can kindly share it afterwards. We have a CEO roundtable, probably you can join on that, sir. Please.
So then my question is that, can you tell about the EMS and EMI of the fan? Anybody is having any information about it?
EMI, EMC definitely could become a concern because right now there is no government directive or anything to say that EMI, EMC of a controller has to be below certain level. So when there are areas where there are a lot of fans running and all of them have poor EMI, EMC, it could start affecting some sensitive equipment, especially in case of hospitals and maybe some other IT sector, electronic sector and all that. But having said that, because the power of the ceiling fan itself is very low, even if it is having little bit poor EMI, EMC, general tolerance level is fairly high. But whenever there are a lot of fans to be used in a sensitive area, meaning an area which is sensitive to EMI, EMC, there has to be some regulation. But at the moment, nobody is worrying about EMI, EMC in BLDC controller.
One last question from ma'am.
Last
question, ma'am.
I'm asking this very important question as an architect. All of you are like from the fan manufacturing company and you all really need to solve this. We make beautiful false ceilings. We design them beautifully. And then ek fan point udhar, ek fan point idhar. So, it spoils the design. So have you all thought of making more and more vertical fans? Because it's very much required. वो जो ceiling fans with 3-4 पंख वाले हैं, we want vertical fans of different colors, sizes and efficiency.
Ma'am, basically you're talking about the pedestal fans.
No, not pedestal. They look like...
You're basically talking about tower fans.
Yes, and more
See,
design
point is that I'll be very honest with you, most of the manufacturers, most of the brands have got tower fans in their basket. But point is that India being a tropical country, these tower fans work well in an AC or an air-conditioned room. But when it comes to a normal room of a person who is staying in a tier 3, tier 4 town, those tower fans are of no use. So the ceiling fans cannot be replaced with any tower fans.
I'm not saying replace them, but give us more options as.
Yeah,
tier
those
one.
options are available, but unfortunately there is a problem with those tower fans is that these are completely plastic. The body is plastic. There is no tower fan which is made in metal. And you have heard that, today's Gen Z is more inclined towards sustainability and all. So there is an aversion towards plastic. That's number one. Number two, these tower fans, the ones which you are talking about, are basically imported. And when it comes to imports and when it comes to handling, there are a whole lot of breakages. So I do not have the exact statistics with me, but right from the 90s, I'm talking about 90s, where most of the large brands started importing these tower fans, they did well, but because of the high servicing cost, they had to withdraw.
So you can see the potential of the market.
Yeah, so people are doing it, but they're quite wary.
We'll
take it offline.
Carry on.
Big round of applause for the panel. They have been very interesting. I think there are too many questions, which sense that they have been touching the right points. I request, I'll actually felicitate all the speakers. Thank you very much. Before we move forward, we have a special recognition award to be presented on behalf of the organizer. We would like to invite Sri Rajendra Agarwal, Managing Director, Raghupati Wire Industries, on the dais, please. Raghupati Wire Industries Private Limited has a proud legacy of more than 3 decades, serving the world in field of copper winding wires and a well-known brand within India and outside India. Rama Winding Wires is also steered by the dynamic leadership of Mr. Rajendra Agarwal. He has pursued his higher education at Newport University, California, and holds several distinguished positions. Director of Federation of Telangana Chamber of Commerce and Industries, Telangana, Chairman of the Copper Wire Manufacturing Association, Telangana, Advisory Committee member of CBIT South, Chairman of IIT Munnanur, Telangana, Chairman of International Committee, and active member of several other federations. It's an honor for me to have him today at this event, as well as being able to honor him amongst us. A big round of applause for him. We'll move to the next and the last panel of the day, the Art of Airflow Fan Design Perspective. I would like to request the moderator, Sri Mahesh Bangad, Architects, Engineers and Surveyors Association, on the dais, please. Along with the panelists for this session, Sri Hemant Sood, Indian Institute of Interior Designers, IIID, Sri Ravindra Gambhir, Vice President, Havells India, Sri Pratik Sharma, Head Commercials and Accounts, Sujata. Architect Sanjay Patil, founder Environment Planners, is still on his way from the airport. Maybe, I don't know if he'll be able to join us. If Vishu is there, yeah, he can join in. Vishu sir, you may join us on the dais.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity to moderate this. It's interesting. I know we are standing between your lunch and the panel discussion, and we are here. I welcome all of you, all the esteemed dignitaries on the dais. I will introduce myself first, and then I'll request all of you to tell about your journey in the professional field, because it's better, rather than reading out long biodatas, it's always good to know from the person what background they come from. Hi, I'm architect Mahesh Bangad. I'm an associate professor with the College of Architecture in Pune. But I'm also the chairman of the Architects, Engineers, Surveyors Association. I also have been a part of IIID, and I'm currently on the executive committee of the Indian Institute of Architects in Pune. The background that I come from, I look at a lot of interior design projects under Studio 7 Inc. So we do a lot of residential projects, and I think fan design becomes very, very important. I must thank the lady who asked the question about how fan designs are sort of bothering the ceiling design as well. But I'll request Hemant sir to start with Hemant sir to introduce himself and the design background that he comes from, so that we then push our questions accordingly to each one of them. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Hemant Sood. I'm an interior designer. I'm the past chairman of IIID Delhi Regional Chapter. Been in practice for the last 41 years. And fans, fortunately or unfortunately, while maybe being a key feature for many people here, for me is a one small component of the large interiors that we do. So probably we'll have, from a design component, we'll have probably a different take on
Right, we're trying
the
to look at
importance of fans and their functionality. But I think it should be interesting.
Lovely. We have people from the industry sitting on the panel and also in the audience. I'm sure they'll take away these viewpoints from designers.
Hi, I'm Rishu Anand. I'm currently the chairman at IIID Delhi. I also run my individual practice 20 North. It's been around 18 years in the industry. It's wonderful to be here among the people from the industry to learn from them. And as designers, fans have always been an afterthought for us, or so to say. We don't want to think about it till the client pushes us to,
Let the client go and buy it.
go and buy it. So then finally we have to choose the best one out of the, whatever is there.
Right, right.
Yeah. So I'm happy to learn what new technology brings in and where designers can help in, taking this forward. Thank you.
Lovely, lovely. We'll move to Ravinder sir, please. No, I doubt that is audible.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ravindra Gambhir. I am taking care of R&D at Havells India Limited. I am taking care of fans and water heater division. So I am associated within this industry for almost 3 decades. So I have been with Havells since last 10 years. And prior to that, I was with Orient Electric and I was taking care of fans and other appliances there. So thank you very much and looking forward to interesting panel discussion.
Lovely, lovely sir. Welcome Ravinder ji. And our fourth panelist, Prateek Sharma ji.
Hi everyone, I am Prateek Sharma and basically I come from a background of commercial and accounts, but playing nowadays we have as a Sujata, we have entered into fans and geysers segment, so I am actively involved in even in developing things, and we have been like grabbing up the market very first like.
Lovely, thank you Prateek ji. So we have an interesting mix. You have 2 designers and 2 people from the industry. I'm sure they'll present a different perspective each. What I'm going to ask all 4 of you first is, we know that all of us by default, even if I'm not a designer or I'm not even from the industry, I'll have a fan at my home, definitely. So as per your experiences, what are the top priorities in fan design today? As manufacturers and as designers, do you look at ergonomics, aesthetics or performance? What do you prioritize as the design aspect of fans?
I'm going to go out on a limb and be absolutely controversial right here. A fan is something that is functional. It circulates the air for sure. From a design perspective, I would like it not to be there.
Right. So
it's a strong statement and a controversial statement, but till the design manufacturers or till the manufacturers understand this design, understand our issues when we deal with our clients, and understand that the fan, as the lady just before in the last panels mentioned, you design a great ceiling for a residence and you have to hang a fan in the center of it. That is a problem. In a corporate situation, there is air conditioning, you can't hang a fan any which way. So how does the air circulate? The requirement is there, the functionality is required, but somewhere down the line I would request Havells and Sujata and all the other fan manufacturing big companies to do an R&D on that and see how we can find a via media where the circulation of the air is taken care of, but the aesthetics is also taken care of, which is the biggest problem.
I have a question for Mr. Pratik on R&D part, but we'll go with Rishu for what is your top priority as a designer? How do you look at ergonomics, aesthetics and performance of a fan?
Of course, the first priority for me will be aesthetics, because the cooling we normally take care with the HVAC. But then if the client specifically requires, then obviously we want something, something which matches the aesthetics and the,
The overall theme of the
overall the
interiors,
theme.
right.
And as nowadays we are more into residential design, and residences are getting bigger. Post-COVID, people are looking
Right.
at bigger spaces. We are still stuck with, same 1400 fans, 1200 fans, fans, which cover a certain distance. And then, as designers, we design bigger rooms, and then the challenge comes to put 4 fans in that room.
4 fans in one room, right.
So we are looking at something which can cater to a bigger space. There are certain fans which are, imported, but I still need to see any homegrown Indian brand doing, taking that leap and doing that.
Right,
bringing
very
that here in
important to
India.
have a homegrown brand to
Yeah.
do that. Havels, what is your take on this?
Sir, when it comes to fans, so fan has evolved a lot over a period of time. So gone are the days here, when the fan used to be with a simple metal body with the 3 metal blades. Now, if you see there are a lot of stalls, you can visit Havel stall also. There are a lot of fancy and, innovative fans. So when it comes to performance, because performance is given, so with the star rating into the picture, so every fan has to deliver a minimum amount of air delivery. So it's given. And you cannot consume more than a certain power consumption. So it is given. So when it comes to then, but next comes the aesthetics. So a lot of innovations are happening in aesthetics. If you see, a lot of experiments are being done with the ABS blades. So earlier the fans used to be with the metal blades, but now aerodynamic blades are coming which deliver good air delivery and at very low dB level. So there are a lot of fans you will find in the stalls. So there are a lot of wooden blades are also coming, which enhance the aesthetics of the room. Apart from that, the other things which are coming are ergonomics point of view are, basically smart fans. So IoT, a lot of IoT fans
is
are
coming into play, right.
and then Bluetooth fans, and then ODV, own device module, where you can talk with the fans. You don't need any internet connection, but you just have to say switch on and switch off, and fan you can control the speed of the fans and other functions.
I'm going to touch the innovation aspect later on, but so according to you, performance becomes the most important aspect of a fan
Performance
design.
is basically given.
Right.
Fan has to deliver a minimum amount of performance, whether it is a innovative fan, say fancy fan, or a basic fan. So performance is the basic thing.
Right, I get
Because
it, I get it.
at the end of the day, if the performance is not there, you may sell a fan for but after some time the customer may complain the fan is not delivering the air.
True that. Sir, you can use that mic also. Pratik ji, I wanted to ask, as Sujata entered the market, you have been in the industry for 40 years and then entered the fan industry. So there must have been a starting point. So what did you prioritize, performance, ergonomics or the aesthetics?
See, basically, as a Sujata, we are known for delivering a quality product. So if we started our journey as a mixer brand, then lately we understood that something so called as we should enter into a fan industry also. And from last 6 years, we have entered into a fan industry with the quality as well as innovations, as well as we are trying to catch up with the industry. But as rightly said, as other panelists have already covered, I would say that the cost factor in Indian market is something which is so called as very concerning. Let me be upfront onto that. We say BLDC fan, like one of our senior panelists have already added on to this.
Right.
That cost factor is something which plays into the mind of a buyer. Yes, no doubt that there are people who are looking for a innovation. There are people who are looking for a quality. There are people who are looking for different shapes and sizes. But coming down on a wire, let it be understanding from the sales perspective. Let it be understanding from the perspective so-called as sustainability of a company comes from volumes. And the volume happens to be the Indian markets are very cost competitive markets. Like as rightly said, BLDC fans is an emerging market. We came down understanding that we will be delivering only quality fans. But lately, very soon, I am one of them who realized that we won't be able to sustain if we do not go down to the wire. Understanding, because there is a very crux of the problem is the people want quality, but they do not want to pay the price.
They don't want to pay the price.
So, understanding what kind of a bomb is to be put up into the fans, we discuss a lot. Let it be even for the fan industry, 20-30 rupees on a base model matters. If somebody is 10 rupees down the line in the base model is there, and every day you come up with some way or the other, you come up that your competitor has given pricing better than you, the sales team comes up and says, my NSM comes, my head sales comes, he says 10 rupees or niche gaya ye brand.
No, I understand. So it's a game of numbers, of course. Maybe I'll ask you a leading question and we'll come back to up to Hemant sir again. So do you think the material choices are also making a lot of difference in terms of costing and performances?
See, yeah, it happens. See, I am trying my level best. My R&D team is trying my level best. We all hail from our different backgrounds and experience. When we sit together as a team to decide that whether this product is to be brought into the market, once you put up all kind of a bomb structuring spares, nobody sees. Today, for a customer, BLDC fan means only BLDC fan. He doesn't understand कि इसके अंदर PCB कितना महंगा है, इसके अंदर आपने क्या डाला है. Today, copper का पंखा है is only what is a theme line end customer understands. Now, it is you have to sell yourself, telling your USP as a product, and then none of the retailers does so. Let me be upfront and clear on to that.
Then isn't the aesthetic becomes important because you are selling a material also, a product also, a performance also, but then the aesthetic aspect is very important.
Aesthetics matter, but not at the cost of that. Once you have made a fan which is very performance based, once it is very aesthetic based, but you are not able to sell that into the market.
We'll take Ravinder sir's input on this. Thank you, Pratik ji. Can we start the mic, please? Yes.
I have a slightly different view
Yes, please.
from Mr. Pradeep. First of all, material choices are very important. So you have to see for what kind of customers you are designing the fan. So if you are coming up with a basic fan, you have to use a basic material, metal fans, because your customer will not pay the price. You know that. So we call it as entry level basic fans.
Right, entry level.
You will see a lot of, whether it is induction fan or BLDC fans, there is an entry level or starting point. But when it comes to premium, we have to go with the better material. For example, we are coming up with ABS blades, the aerodynamic blades.
Right.
Where the customer are paying more than 8,000 rupees for a fan. So we are selling huge quantity for that. So there are customers for all kind of fans. We are coming up with underlight fans. So if you see, I mean, I don't know whether this is the right form, but you can visit our stall. You will see a lot of fans.
Definitely, we would love
so
to
material choices
understand.
play a role. But as Mr. Podar was saying, so you have to see your brands, your brand image. You can use a 200 rupees controller also in a fan. You can use a 400 rupees controller also. At the starting, both will perform. But whether that 200 rupees controller is reliable, whether that will last for at least for 5 years, you have to give that choice to the customer.
But have you ever had a customer feedback taken where they have dictated what sort of material they would like to have for a fan? Because a lot of people go to the market, they buy fans only for the look of it.
Yes.
The designer, they don't even concern. They don't even ask them whether it will fit our interior fit out or not. They buy it for the look of it, probably for the material of it. Have you ever had a feedback on material choices from audience the consumer?
Yes, we do a lot of customer survey whenever we come up with a new concept. We do a lot of customer survey, and our consumers give a lot of feedback. So in the last survey recently, we came up with why can't we have wooden blades? Because people want to match the aesthetics of the fan with the furniture.
Yes, that's the question I'm going to ask
So we
Rishu
came
also.
up with wooden blades also. So, and wooden blades, that too are reversible. You can choose.
I understand. So when you are using a material, you are probably not compromising on performance and probably not compromising on aesthetic.
Yes.
But what Pratik sir mentioned, it might just lead to a bigger cost again. Like you said, 8,000 rupees. So I'll take Rishu's word on this. As a designer, you have been doing a lot of high-end residential projects. Does it ever come to your mind that my entire scheme of materials is going to be affected by that material of the fan? Or do you ever feel the need that the fans also have to be of the same material as your fit out is?
No, I feel nowadays we have enough materials in the fan industry that they have been trying with, whether it is metal or wooden kind of finishes, actual wooden blades. But then the challenge also becomes is that when we are doing a high-end residence, we want to put a chandelier in the center of the
right,
and that has to be replaced. I mean, my client is ready to spend a 5 or a 6 lakh on a chandelier, but the Indian climate is such that we need to have a fan.
A fan, yes, I know.
And there we are lacking somewhere that something which can match the
something that
aesthetics.
could integrate both the requirements together.
Yes. So something that can integrate both the requirements, something that can replace a chandelier, something can bring that opulence in the environment.
Right.
We are lacking somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe Hemant sir can add to that, because as a designer you always try to integrate the overall aesthetics of the rooms with the ceiling and the fan together. You look at it as one product. You don't say now the interior designer's role is done and now I will attach a fan. I don't care about how that fan looks in the context. Have you looked at fan as a product or as an integral part of that design? What is your perspective on it?
Carrying on with my controversy.
I want you to.
When we do a project, let's assume I do a 4 BHK, 5 BHK luxury flat somewhere in Delhi NCR. The project cost would be approximately anything from 5 crore to 10 crore. The cost of the fans is 0.0001%. So you pardon me, but if I'm not thinking about the cost of the fan or the size of the fan or the color of the fan, you'll have to excuse me because it's a very small component.
I understand, but it's going to affect the overall room
So,
aesthetics.
So let me also answer one thing that Ravinderji pointed out. There are two kinds of fans. I would say there will be two kinds of interiors. One is a low cost, medium cost interior, where a regular traditional fan which has been used for the last 40-50 years, that will be used. We are not talking about the cost, we're not talking about quality of the material, because I don't think that's in debate. It's a very price sensitive market.
Right.
But there is a certain market which is increasing day by day, which is the high end market. When your fans are already 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, 25,000, 40,000 plus with remote control. I was just at the Havel stall with heating now, with air purifiers, Bluetooth, music system, I don't know what else they put into the fan. When the client is paying for that, then the cost is already become irrelevant.
Right.
A guy who can pay 50 will pay 55. He wants a top end material. He wants durability. He wants something that will last, and that's what Havels is doing, Sujata is doing, all the big manufacturers are doing that. So I don't think we should quibble on the cost of the fan or the cost of the material. We have to look at it from another point of view, and the point of view which I mentioned earlier is functionality.
Function, right.
That is even more important to me than aesthetics, because I would like, as I said, I would like the fan to be there, but in a residential interior and a commercial interior. Residential interior, at least the fan is visible. Commercial interior, there is no fan.
I know.
And that's a majority of the work today.
So the fan doing its job correctly for the functional aspect of it is very more important than just it being aesthetically there.
So it needs to be like the operating system on your phone. or on your laptop or on
Right.
your pad.
Right.
It should work seamlessly but not be visible.
Not be visible. I think I'll take that with Ravinderji. I remember I read somewhere there's a lot of R&D happening about the form of the fan also, and especially when the fan industry, and not just your product, a lot of other big players in the market try to play with the form without compromising with the function of airflow and everything. Do you think more R&D is possible? How is this R&D helping in the form and function evolution?
So as I earlier said, ceiling fan basically is evolving a lot. Earlier you used to see a very bigger fans. The motor body used to be very big. Now with the introduction of BLDC technology, motors are becoming smaller and smaller. But that doesn't mean the motor becoming smaller, the fan will not deliver its function. The air delivery, the everything is, rather I would say it is better than induction. In induction fan there is an issue when there is a voltage drop, the RPM of the fan goes down. But in BLDC fan, the RPM remains same, the speed remains same even at the lower voltage. So, but yes, I agree with Pradyumna's point. So, with the Indian electricity condition, electronics has to be more robust.
Right, right.
Yes. So, but having said that, the form of the fan is changing a lot. A lot of other things are being integrated. As you said, air purifier is being integrated with the fan. Lights are being integrated with the fan. Fans are, you can control by voice. You don't need any internet. IoT, smart fan, you can basically check the energy consumption. For example, in a BLDC fan, you say this consumes 30 watt. How would a customer know whether this is consuming 30 watt or 50 watt? You can monitor the energy consumption on an app, on a smart app.
Right.
So the integration of underlight fans, the uplights are also coming. You would see a lot of form changing in the near future, especially with the introduction of electronics. Lot of things are possible in ceiling fans.
Right. So maybe I'll take that with Pratik sir again. See, the commercial requirement of fans is very high right now, and probably that is the reason why a very established brand like Sujata entered into the fan market. I have statistics with me. 89,000 tenements were sold last year in Delhi NCR alone. Now 89,000 households are sold. You can imagine the number of fans required for all of them. That's just one very small component of requirement, but the most design hungry requirement of fan design. How has this commercial requirement influenced your policies towards designing and performance of fans? How have you linked that up?
Maheshji, we have been, as a company, we have been a quality conscious company, and it is known fact. We do not need to add on to that. As a mixers, we have been doing relatively well, and we do not want to spoil our name entering into any product segment, stating by going down into saying that yes, because of competition we have come down. No. Yes, but understanding in the product segment which we are in, cost becomes a comparatively something so called as, you need to have a balance of both. Let me take it that way. You can produce gold, but how many purchasers of gold are there?
Precisely my point, because that is why I'm asking you. If the price point, if it's not going to be pocket friendly, there is going to be reluctance for better designs and better performances being bought.
While taking a decision, we need to understand from a grassroots level that it is a retailer who sells a fan. It is not me who is designing, sitting here and selling. It is not my R&D, it is not my purchase team, it is not somebody, my chairman, who is selling that fan. It is that person concerned who is selling my fan. I need to go down into his wire, into his pocket to understand what exactly needs to be done. अगर आप ऐसा देखें कि most of the fan aesthetics, look wise, they are more over, it looks
more or less they're all similar, right?
And today, if some company invents something, second month, that company,
you'll have the
another
other company
comes
also
up with
taking
the
it up, right?
same model with the different name.
Right.
And it goes that way only. For the fan industry, it goes that way only. Where it counts upon, the count goes on, let it be any concerned name, the count goes on what we are doing, how we are doing, at what cost we are doing. Because by the end of the day, if I am doing something and I am incurring regular losses, it doesn't make sense.
No point, right. But then that's where I agree with Hemant sir's point, that in the entire cost of a project, and I'm not even referring residential or a commercial project, the idea of air ventilation itself is one of the last looked up aspects of it. But then if I'm able to get a product that is going to satisfy my requirement without spoiling the aesthetic of it, then cost will not make a lot of difference.
True. I do agree what Mahesh ji you has spoken. But what out of 100 buyers in India, 20 people are ready to pay for their own wants, needs, and out of 30% are those people who are ready to compromise what they feel this should be the aesthetics, it depends what market we are catering. If I go down into a all India segment, Vidar for me is a very cost competitive market.
Right.
If I go down into a certain other markets, it may be different for the different brands, but it happens that way. You have to understand what kind of a product we are entering into and who are my competitors.
So on that, maybe I'll ask Rishu, do you think, do you agree that maybe there are compromises that are done with the performance for the aesthetic of it, or to match the cost and aesthetics of those fans? As a designer, do you not look at what the fan is performing, but because it's aesthetically good, it's fitting the purpose, you will go ahead with it?
No, absolutely not.
Right.
Because at the end, I'll be liable to answer my client.
Right.
I am the person who tells which model, which company he has to put. We are the specifiers.
Right.
Finally, so so much so I want to go to the aesthetics part that it has to match with my interiors.
Right.
But I will not compromise on the
Right.
functioning
So basically,
part.
the performance will take top priority because the user is finally has to be
Yes,
at the
of course,
benefit,
of course.
and then the cost may not become the priority, because as long as the important part is that the user is happy with the space.
Well, that question doesn't work when the designers are setting, because if a client can afford a designer, I'm sure he can afford a fan.
He can afford a fan.
Yeah.
Right. That's true. That's true. I'll ask Hemant sir one very direct question, because he has been the devil's advocate here. Do you think the fan industry needs a revolution in terms of the like the lady mentioned? Do you think we have to change the way we look at our fan as a product at all? As in, do you think they need a lot more R&D in terms of the different types of fans to come in? Maybe tower fans, or maybe you mentioned something that is not seen but still doing its job.
Yeah, definitely. I think design, it's like the chair in our industry. It's still on 4 legs. It hasn't changed from the time of eternity. Same with the fan. Nothing has changed. Quality has become better. Of course, as I mentioned, heating, cooling.
Yeah, integration has become better.
Lighting, Bluetooth, music, whatever else, controls, apps. But essentially, it's still a fan. It's still got 3 blades or 4 blades. It still goes round and round. It makes less noise, fair enough. It takes less energy, also fair enough. Nothing has changed.
Right.
And that is not aesthetically pleasing. And I think the manufacturing segment can tell me, sir, would you be able to give me an idea? Your regular traditional fan versus the BLDC motors, what is the percentage? 80-20 or is it 90-10?
Just be a little louder if you can take the mic closer.
So the percentage between induction fans and the BLDC motors?
Do you think I think it's a very important question, because according to him it's 90-10 or even lesser probably, I think. What is it?
So as an industry, it is around 15-85. 15% are BLDC fan and 85% induction fans.
Right.
But brand to brand it varies. So there are many brands who are doing much more.
Is the market really of that nature of 85-15 right now?
Yes, right now. But it is growing very fast. So as in the inauguration session, Mr. Abhishek Sharma was saying, it was 2% 3 years before, 2 to 3%.
That's what.
Yeah.
That's
From 2
drastically
to
changed
3%,
to
it has 15%.
5 times now almost,
Yes,
according
yeah.
to you. So, Hemant sir, would you want to lead that point? Yes.
So that's the point I was trying to raise. So with it's fast growing, it's moved from 2% to 15%, but it's still only 15%.
That's what I'm saying.
So for the 85%, a lot of what they've said matters. The quality, the cost, the materials that are used, the competition, the market, those things matter.
Right.
But for the 15% which can afford an interior designer, as Richu said, and therefore can afford a BLDC motor and all the gimmicks that go with it, for them the cost is not important. So
Right,
there we
right.
should not look at the cost, we should look at functionality, as much functionality as possible. And more important than that, they have to look at design. That design somehow has to become more minimal, more almost invisible, if I may use that word.
Right, right.
What has happened is there are certain fan companies that have come in who deal only in fans. They don't make anything else except fans. And they've come out with these hanging fans, they've got wooden blades, they've got chandeliers hanging from them. That's a very small component of that market. Nobody is still addressing the market of the fan that doesn't have to be ostentatious, it has to disappear.
Disappear, right.
So
right.
tower fans could be one step in that direction. Fans which are concealed in a ceiling with a grill in front of it, so that the air comes but the fan doesn't show, that could be a future.
Right, right.
The design R&D team has to work on that level also.
Right. So my question, because we have a lack of time, I'm going to ask you. We will take your take itself. What is that one single design principle that you think is going to shape the next 10 years of fan design industry, and what would it be, and maybe why it should change?
I would just say multifunctionality.
Multifunctionality.
Yeah.
That one design principle is multifunctionality. Excellent.
It's already happening. A lot of development has already taken place. The only thing, as I said, is if the fan can become sleeker or more invisible or more merged.
It will
with the
add a lot
interior.
of value to the designs. Rishu, your take on that?
I think the product designers in the fan companies should leave the center of the room. Leave the center of the room. I mean, start thinking that you don't have to design the fan which is in the center of the room, and then probably we'll go somewhere.
I think that's an excellent suggestion, because everybody just imagines to draw this center of the room and then place that fan there. And when you divide them into bays, you again draw the center always. So if the fan industry can go away from the center of the room, I think it will create a revolution in terms of air conditioning, airflow inside these spaces, right? Your take, sir?
So I agree with Mr. Hemant. I think going forward, convenience and multifunctionality is going to drive this market.
For the next 10
So
years.
cost, as Mr. Pratik was saying, the cost is coming down. See, if you see the price of a BLDC fan used to be around 4,000 rupees, entry points. Now fans are already come to around, I think, 2,800 to 3,000 rupees.
Right.
So the cost of controller is coming down, cost of magnets is also coming down. The ecosystem is being developed in India. The cost will come down. On the other side, the cost of induction fans is going up because of the ratcheting, because you have to put more copper, more material. So eventually, I think it's a matter of time. BLDC will replace the induction market. I
So
think.
we will probably sitting here 10 years down the line and
Yes.
saying the ratio has changed to 60.
Unless some revolutionary technology comes in induction
and changes it
Yes, yes.
further. But that will be in the favor of the industry then.
Yes,
I think.
absolutely.
Pratik sir, your call on this.
See, what Hemant sir has said, I totally agree on to that. It is only what matters is what he said is like, I would just add on performance, word performance and aesthetics onto it. It is everything. It is a bunch of all. It is not one thing that would consider that it is only a cost and it is not looking nice. Nobody would purchase. It is a bunch of all, and a break-even point has to come for everything. Like this is a point where I cannot go up. It is a point where I cannot go down.
Right.
Once we stand on those points, I think next technology which is catching up fast is BLDC, and we will see many revolutions coming up. Like Ravinder ji is a technical master, so naturally things like a very experienced person like him will give us something which will create a revolution in the industry.
So I think the previous panel, and I must thank all of them, they laid the foundation for the technical aspect, technical background of the art of airflow. And when I look at from the design perspective and the designer perspective and also the product perspective, I think the art of art flow is more about not trying to compromise the user need and also trying to look at it being an essential component but not a design dictator of a interior design or a project. So that makes a lot of difference. But what my takeaway, if I had to sum it up for all four of us, five of us here, is One is multifunctionality is very, very important. Two, innovation in terms of understanding how fan design could evolve other than the center of the room. It has to move away. Third, I think without compromising too much on the performance and not worrying about the cost, we should do a lot of R&D in terms of how BLDC and newer technologies could take over the existing ideologies of fan designs and use. And most importantly, like you said, Pratik sir, I think when you don't say, when you look at sustainability in a fan design component, I think like you mentioned, cost will matter, but I think it will also matter in conjunction with the user's requirement in different domains.
Maheshji, I would say cost won't matter at a cost of a performance.
Right.
Performance has to be
Has
there.
to be
and
there
it
by
has
default.
to be like in our blood into a company. Performance is something which we do not compromise.
We don't
would
compromise
not like to enter into a product segment. We would enter into a product segment if we would give a performance.
Right.
If we
right.
would do a cost effectiveness and if we would stand, because we won't spoil our name just to enter into the market and then moving out. So
Right.
what you said is right. It has to be a balance of all.
Right, right. So I think I had made a statement, I had pulled up some data. So energy efficiency in indoor air quality, they don't have any marking statement for how does the fan performance. What does the fan perform for? Indoor air quality is measured by the air that flows inside the room. But I think as fan designers, as manufacturers, as indoor aesthetics designers, how well we use the right fan will also decide what kind of indoor air quality it is going to have. So I think the role is very, very important for the industry. It is brighter, of course, though it is contributing only to 0.0001% of that project cost and requirements also. It is still non-negotiable, I feel. It's indivisible, but has to become invisible as well. All right, I think we'll wind up here. Thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you.
We'll take a couple of audience questions if we have time. We have one gentleman there. If one.
Hi, good afternoon.
Right.
This is Deep Prakash Srivastava from Broadway Consulting India. My question is, this fan industry is very, very old enough in India to mature. Now, like all the panels have discussed, all the possibilities, the innovations, designs and various other things. But I still feel that there is a complete revolution is about to come when a new generation of people are coming in and they really require that not only the design, the functionality is the most important aspect.
True.
Like in a one room, you people would like to have a one or two maximum fans. The reach of the fan is not there in the almost all the corners of the room. So when they come inside, they immediately switch it on and do all kind of things. But still it doesn't serve the purpose. So there is a dear need of design change so that the air has to spread over all across. Either maybe in the blades change or maybe in terms of the
Your
motor.
observation and point is valid, sir, and that is why I had actually asked them.
No, this is a very basic thing, very, very basic thing. I'm not talking about the various other aspects of it. Whether you take a hotel room or you take a house or anywhere else. I think they have a biggest market share is from the
homes, right?
Where they sell it. And the BLDC, when they came in, the people were not very much inclined towards it, but slowly the prices come down and people are opting it. So my request is only that they have to really invest in terms of innovation. All designs and everything is immaterial. The functionality is the most important. People would pay the price for it.
True. Thank you for that point. And I think that brings me to an idea because I made that note as well. Additionally, I had somewhere, I was also of the opinion that maybe the industry itself can fund a lot of R&D along with designers on board to see how that fan design, fan ergonomics, blade design, integration and invisibility can together be created in the next 10 years. Because see, we replace the hard drives with small chips now and we are still doing the same function probably at greater speed and efficiency. So maybe the fan industry will see a lot of change in the next 10 years. And like sir rightly mentioned, I'm
very happy he said, I want to request that we should look at changing this perspective of designing, because I feel we will be able to create a change. There is so much potential. Rishu also mentioned that there is so much of design potential that is yet not explored, and maybe with the help of industry stalwarts, with the help of designers, with the help of manufacturers and people who know the technical know-how, we should be able to reach there someday. Of course, we don't want to work on L1s. We don't want to look at giving away contracts on L1s to everyone. We want to have the right sustainability and energy efficiency everywhere.
Can I have a loud round of applause for their families, please? It was very insightful, of course. I would request Pradyumna Poddar sir, kindly please join us on the stage to give a memento to our panelists and the moderator.